Man, the Celtics are up 2-0 and are headed to Dallas. Kristaps Porzingis injury puts Boston's finals dominance into question. And Dan Hurley said, highest paid coach? Nah, I'm good. I'm Rosa Panta. This is a Clinic All That Media podcast. I have the two hooligans with me. JJ, how you living, my friend?
Woo! Feeling good, feeling great. Summer is right here, fellas. Let's get it.
It's definitely summer because it was 105 today here in Sacramento. John, how you living, my friend?
105 from your favorite team, Sacramento Kings, baby. Let's go. I'm ready to talk some basketball. Let's do it.
Let's talk some basketball, boys. We got to talk about, I guess, some quotes that are flying around lately. And it all has to do with the NBA Finals. So, listeners, don't you worry. Our first one is Skip Bayless tweets, Drew Holiday is a better basketball player than Damian Lillard. Is this true or false? What do you guys think, John?
Wow.
I know what JJ thinks.
Because he loves Dame.
He loves Dame. Honestly, real quick, man, as much as I want to say Skip Bayless has lost his mind, I don't know if I can. When I say bad, I don't know about better. But I think Drew Holiday is a more winning basketball player. He plays more winning basketball than Damian Lillard does. But to answer the question, better basketball player, I'm going to say no. I think Dame is better overall. So false.
JJ, what do you think?
I will say that Skip Bayless is always wrong. I would agree with him if he said that Drew Holiday is a better fit than Damian Lillard on the Bucks, because the Bucks' construction of their roster is predicated on defense, which Damian Lillard is not known for. So if they needed an outside scorer, which they did have, or which they needed, Damian Lillard, they had the right intention of getting Damian Lillard, but John, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they tried to fix it with Damian Lillard, and I think they did break the system. So, Skip Bayless, you're wrong. I'm going to say it's a better fit, but Damian Lillard's better.
Yeah, I'm also with you. I don't think Drew Holiday could ever carry a team that had CJ McCollum, Yusuf Nurkic, Myers Leonard, and I don't even know who else was on that team. Maurice Harkless that went to the conference finals. I can't see Drew Holiday doing that. And I would say that Damian Lillard's peak was way higher than any other peak that Drew Holiday has had. But I will say that Drew Holiday is definitely, like you guys said, a more complementary piece to a finals team than Damian Lillard at this point. Because we've seen Damian Lillard on this Bucks team, and even during the regular season, it was super questionable. Their defense, all they talked about was how Damian Lillard wasn't good at the point of attack. So I'm gonna have to disagree with Skip here. So boys, next one is Bob Myers. He says, let me ask you guys a question. Who's the MVP right now of the NBA Finals? Malika Andrews replied with Jaylen Brown. Josh Hart said Jaylen Brown. Michael Wilbon said Drew Holiday. Bob Myers said it's Brad Stevens. Who is the correct finals MVP according to these guys here? What do you guys think?
I get what Bob Myers is doing here, but Come on, we're talking about players here, guys. Come on, man. That's crazy to me.
JJ, or go ahead.
Yeah,
John,
Jay, go. No, Jay, go.
No, it's good. I mean, you know me and my stupid analogies, but it's like when your girlfriend asks, oh, what do you like about me? And you say everything. It's like a cop-out answer. Right?
Like the Brad Stevens answer? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Brad Stevens is of course, he constructed this team with Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Brown, Tatum. That's crazy. That's like an all-star team in itself. In today's NBA, which Adam Silver has made rules where you have these franchises, these teams where it's really hard to build a super team. and I think the Celtics are trying to capitalize right now with the current rules. But the real answer is Jaylen Brown. I love you, Bob Myers, but come on, man, give the right answer. It's Jaylen Brown.
I respectfully disagree. I could see it, JJ. I understand why you picked Jaylen Brown, but I'm gonna go with the guy we just talked about, Drew Holiday. And I say that because he is, like I said earlier, he's just a winning basketball player. He does the things that are conducive to winning games, right? He does not always put up stat-popping numbers, but he did in game 2. But on top of that, his defense. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Kyrie Irving, and I know he's been played against Boston poorly for the last however many games, before even Drew Holiday was here, but I think the defense that he's playing, the point of attack, the pressure that he's putting on, his full court press on Kyrie, he's being physical with him, he's bigger, he's able to kind of bother Kyrie, and Kyrie needs to figure it out, otherwise it's going to be a short series. So my answer is Drew Holiday.
My only counter to that is that Jaylen Brown's on-ball defense has also been really, really good. And then you take into consideration like his rotational defense. I mean, he had some great blocks like in game 1. It was pretty ridiculous. But it's close. This is what the conversation is, right? Between Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday. Sorry, Jason Tatum, you're not part of this conversation just yet.
I don't think he's going to be part of the conversation. He's been having some assists here and there, and I think he's been playing pretty respectable defense, but yeah, he's not even in close to the conversation of MVP and Finals MVP. So
right now, my lean is Jaylen Brown, but it's like by a hair. Like it's so close in my eyes. For the next question here, fill in the blank. Kyrie Irving is struggling because blank. John, what do you think?
Because of, is it Lucky the Leprechaun? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Because of Lucky the Leprechaun. And for context, if anybody doesn't know, it's when Kyrie stepped on the mascot on the Boston Celtics floor however many games ago, and they've lost 10 or 12 in a row. So that's my answer. My joke of an answer. Go ahead, Jay.
I mean, I hate to even say that the Celtics are in his head, but it is that they are, right? Like, 2 years ago, he's flipping off the crowd after burning sage in the locker room. That's like totally being contradictory to what he's supposed to do. So I'm gonna say it that the Celtics are in his head. Like, even Draymond Green mentioned before that crowd in Boston, they say crazy stuff. Boston sports, they're known to be rowdy. So I'm gonna say Boston. Also, Jun, the host, refer to the chat because I want to shout out to one of our listeners, Ghost of Jerulatis. I don't know what he's exactly saying.
Latis Bayless, yeah. He's saying Bayless can never lose something he never had, which is kind of funny. Also, he wants us to throw in some Yo Mama jokes. I'm sure JJ and John have some of those deep in their stash.
I haven't had a... No, I respect all mamas. But if I had a book once, though, I did have a book that had Yo Mama jokes. And they had a show about that on MTV, I think, so...
Kyrie Irving, I think, is struggling because I think we hyped him up too much. I think he hadn't been that productive, like, during these playoffs.
It's fair.
And we were expecting, like, Kyrie of, like, what? Like, back in 2015, 2016, where LeBron James and Kyrie go for 40 each. That's not the Kyrie Irving now. It's his way different. And you could see it because I think back in the day, he would probably give Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown more problems. But since he's older, I don't know, man. So I don't know if he's really struggling. I think it just might be Kyrie Irving now playing against a good defense. Do you guys disagree?
I mean,
No, that's a great point. He's 32.
to be fair, fellas, though, like against the best defense in the Wolves, he dominated. So people thought that he would carry on against the Celtics.
I don't think he
Whose
dominated.
aren't as strong.
I don't think he dominated though. Like collectively, I know he dominated in spurts, and I think he did it in a few games. But I think overall he didn't. And I fact check me on this, but I don't think he played as well as we think he did. But maybe because we have that perception because he played well in 1 or 2 games. But I could be wrong.
You're right
pretty
in
sure.
spurts, but those spurts are very vital to Luka's success when Luka is not cooking or when Luka is not playing.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you know, in those moments against the Timberwolves, I feel like the points that he would either make by like giving an assist or actually score himself, they felt loud. And right now against the Celtics, I mean, his points feel so quiet because he is struggling for every single like possession that he gets. So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. Kyrie Irving is now 0-12 versus the Celtics in his last 12 games against them. Are the Celtics in his head? I think we sort of answered that, right? I mean, I'm going with yes. JJ, what do you think?
Yes, I mean, we've had famous athletes, notable athletes like Jordan against the Pistons, Tom Brady against the Giants. Some teams just have an edge over a superstar, and 0-12, you gotta say, man, that's a pattern.
John, agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think his tenure there and just how it left a sour taste in everyone's mouth, and people are talking about it. Like he just can't get out of his own. I mean, a lot of it I think is him mentally, right? I think he just needs to just play basketball. I think he's overthinking things. He's certainly letting it affect his game. It's clear. And he's doing things uncharacteristically, right? That we don't see Kyrie doing, which people continue to say that he is the best ball handler the game has ever seen, right? And that's obviously debatable, but he's probably up there. I think that's people can agree that he's probably top 3 if anything. And so to see him have mishaps and lose control of the ball on his left hand, dribble it off his foot, those are very uncharacteristic for someone like Kyrie Irving. So those, to me, that's mental, despite his older age at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. The next quote here is Luka Doncic. My turnovers and my missed free throws cost us the game. I've got to do way better in those 2 categories. What do you guys think of Luka Doncic's analysis of why they lost these games?
You know what he really wants to say? He wants to yell at Kyrie. He wants to say Kyrie needs to sack up, like for real. But I like what he said because that's what leaders do, right? They take the blame, and I think you could make an argument that as a superstar you shouldn't turn the ball over that much, and you certainly need to shoot better than the free throws that he's shooting. He's not a great free throw shooter. He's like, I think he's shooting around 70, low 70s for the series and the career, which is not great for someone of his stature. But I don't believe this for a second. I don't even know if he believes it, but he said it right. It's the right thing to say politically for your team.
It is the right thing to say. Luka just needs help. The Celtics, like I said before, Drew Holiday, Porzingis, Brown, Tatum, White, and the Mavs, they have role players and Kyrie and Luka. And Kyrie's past his prime, so.
When the play-by-play commentator says Luka passes the ball and so throws a screwball up for 3, like that just kind of paints the picture of like who Luka has to rely on in these moments when the defense is focusing on him. It's like these people around him needs to hit the shots when he finds them open, but at the same time, I don't know if he's going to get that. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, Shams Karania. Celtics Kristaps Porzingis suffered a torn medial. Man, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. Allowing dislocation of the posterior tibialis tendon. He's injured. are the Celtics built to withstand him being injured? I know what you're gonna say, John. I know what you're gonna say.
No, I'm just first of all, I'm like, English, please, right? Like, what the hell kind of a tweet is this? Like, Shams is just trolling people at this point. I mean, I understand that's the medical term for what happened, but like, tendon is the only word out of all this entire medical condition that I understood. I know what a tendon is. Anyway, I
thought you were
digress.
about to call me out on being like in the medical field and I didn't know how to pronounce these words, dude.
No, if you don't know what these are, then damn, I for sure, JJ and I for sure don't know what the hell this is. So, I mean, can they withstand him being injured? I think so, unfortunately. But I do think it makes, because the Celtics are pretty, they have depth. And they've shown that they could win without him throughout the first 3 series. Granted that they played a lot of teams without their stars. They played teams that had pretty big injuries. They didn't play teams that are even close to them from a talent standpoint. But although I do think the Celtics can withstand him being injured, I do think it makes things a little bit more interesting. One of the things that the Mavs have done throughout these playoffs is lobs. Lively, Gafford, they've been living off the lobs, and I think Kristaps Porzingis being 7'3", 7'4", he prevents that a lot of the time, right? He has the height, he has the size to prevent a lot of what the Mavs are trying to do in the interior. So if he's out for an extended period of time and the Mavs can expose it the way that they should, I think it makes things a little interesting, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you hit all the points, John. They could withstand it. They're just deep. They're top heavy. They have more depth. And like what I said in the previous question, Luka, you have Kyrie, and then role players. Good role players, but they're not like built like the Celtics.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Celtics. Oh, RJ just brought up a picture of what the medial retinaculum is. It's his knee. Jams. Just say knee, dude. His knee's injured.
That is correct.
So
isn't a retina like part of your eye?
Dude, yes, it is part of your eye. But I don't know about the part.
Retinaculum.
Yeah, I have no idea, dude. No idea. Anyway, I think the Celtics can withstand him being injured, but I think it's going to take a lot more work. I think it could definitely go to 6 games with him being injured. But with the way the games have been going now, I felt more like 5 games. Like this series would be done in 5 by the Celtics. I don't know if you guys kind of feel the same way.
If Kyrie continues to play like that, then yeah. I think Luka's going to be Luka. I think it's clear that nobody can defend him, and he's going to get his. But the Celtics' game plan has been clear. Let Luka get his, prevent everyone else from doing anything. And it's evident because if you look at Luka's assists in the first 2 games, they have abysmally low for someone like him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, our next one. The NBA Finals Game 1 viewership slips under 11 million mark. Tops only the COVID era years, 2020 and 2021, as least watched finals opener since 2007. So who do you blame here? So A, the superstars. B, ABC and ESPN. C, 9-day delay. D, city representation. So Boston versus Dallas, just the matchup. JJ, what do you think?
Dang, man. I've heard great arguments, especially A through C. John, I think I'll let you pick the obvious answer, so I'll go with the underrated answer. I'm going to blame a huge part on ABC and ESPN. I know that JJ Redick, Doris Burke, and Michael Green, right? This is a new group, but they're too nice to each other, man. Like, even though Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, they irritated the hell out of me. I loved it that they fought, like verbally bickered on national television, right? And JJ Redick and Doris Burke, on the flip side to it, they're not even as exciting as Bob Costas when Bob Costas did the Jordan games. It's just like, dang man, can we at least get some TNT broadcasters up in here? So ABC and ESPN's production has been very, very lackluster. So I'm gonna blame it on ABC and ESPN, and unfortunately, they're about to strike the deal with the NBA, and I really hope that the TNT crew could get some sort of gig off to the side. So we'll see though.
Yeah, the best they could do was send us Josh Hart. Like, I want to listen to Josh Hart's commentary on the finals. I don't know. John, what do you think?
You know, it's funny you brought up ABC and ESPN, and I was thinking about it because I knew it was bad when on the way to the commercial break, they started playing Black Eyed Peas. I got a feeling from circa 2008, and I'm like, wow, that is. You couldn't look in the vault and pick a different song. That was the song that you chose.
Thank you.
So this is the group that we're working with here. This is the talent and the vision that we have for the
Yes.
NBA. I mean, come on,
Millions
man.
of
Anyway,
dollars spent to decide
Yes.
Black Eyed Peas is the way to go.
was the song the way to go?
So
And don't
John's
get me wrong, man.
blaming Black Eyed Peas apparently.
I rock with the old Black Eyed Peas, like 90s, but I'm just saying, okay. Anyway, yeah, the obvious answer is the representation, right? Like,
Ooh, okay.
oh, you didn't think that was you thought it was a superstar. I was gonna say superstar.
I thought it was
right?
a 9-day delay, but I want you to.
No.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't
Go
think
ahead.
it's a 9-day delay at all. I think I don't think the delay matters, to be honest with you. I mean, if you put a product out that people are willing to see and is exciting,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter when it starts to me.
Just like the Super Bowl. Super Bowl's like 2-week delay.
Good
Yeah.
point, fellas. Good
Yeah.
point.
The superstars, I think, play a role. I mean, Tatum and Brown aren't, they're not the flashiest. They're not LeBron and Steph. It's not even close. Luka is probably the biggest draw here, and Kyrie too. I mean, Kyrie has his skeptics. He has his things that he says. He has a lot of critics out there. But Luka and Kyrie are big time names. But I always go back to the representation here, like Dallas versus Boston. They're just not marquee teams. I know Boston is, but I feel like Boston really is only a marquee team when they're playing someone like the Lakers because of that history, because of that rivalry. And Dallas and Boston don't have a rivalry, right? Like maybe if it was Boston versus, I don't know, throw me a name here, West Coast team other than the Lakers. I'm struggling here. I don't know if there is another one.
I mean, maybe the Warriors, but you can't beat the Lakers, man.
Right, you can't beat the Lakers.
Yeah, you can't beat that sort of city representation,
Yeah.
Yeah, just my point though is like I just don't. There's no rivalry. There's no historical context that you can kind of point back to with these two teams. And yeah, man, I just think that's what it is. But also like maybe big picture, maybe just overall. Maybe it's the NBA product too, right? Like we're getting a lot of all these fouls that are being called, the suspect refereeing. I feel like those play somewhat of a role as well.
Yeah, I do think that some people are getting tired of the refereeing. I think that is part of it. But for me, I think it's the superstars in this case. So if I'm thinking about Boston, okay, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Porzingis, none of them are loud. None of them talk a lot. There's no smack talk, like nothing fun.
True.
There's zero fun with that team. Okay, they're very, very good at what they do. They're awesome at basketball. Okay, they're great at basketball. But as far as like appealing to the masses, the casual fans who don't watch, the NBA Finals or NBA, I don't think they're super appealing. And then you get to Luka and Dallas with Kyrie, like they're not super like gravitating either. I mean, how many times do people say like Luka goes down the court and gets bumped, and all of a sudden he's flopping and begging for a foul like every other play. Like, it's not like appealing basketball or appealing personality to watch. Now, I'm wondering, do you guys think this viewership would be different if it was Anthony Edwards versus Boston? Because I love the way Anthony Edwards carried himself and all of the smack talk that he did and sort of like the 90s grit that he had. And I think that would have been way more appealing. Do you guys think the same? Or do you think the matchup against Boston just doesn't do it for you guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might have marginally made it better, but to your point, I think Boston is just, they don't have someone on their team that you can vilify, that you wanted them to, you know what I mean? Like, as much as I dislike Boston, I don't have anything against Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. They don't talk smack. They don't have that villain arc. And that's what you need, not just in the NBA, but any form of entertainment. You need someone to root for, and you need someone to root against.
Right.
They remind me of the Spurs, man. Very neutral.
Yeah.
The old school
absolutely.
Spurs, you know? Yeah.
There's no like Jake Paul in these matchups, right? There's no one that you're just like waiting to see like get knocked out because you villainize them so much. Anyway, sucks that Mike Tyson can't fight that fight, but that's neither here or there. Okay, next quote. Well, Jaylen is their best player. And this was Jason Kidd, the coach of the Mavericks, saying this. Translate this into your own words, guys. JJ, what do you think?
What Jason Kidd is really saying is, Jason Tatum, I know you want to be Kobe so bad, and you want these finals MVP, so I'm just going to snick diss you because I know this is going to hurt your soul, knowing that you are so far away from being the mirror image of Kobe, and I'm going to pick your peer, Jaylen Brown, because obviously he's better than you. That's what Jason Kidd is saying.
Oh, great translation, John.
I can't top that. I'm gonna skip that. That was top tier stuff, JJ.
Oh,
so
thank you,
gonna,
John. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip.
I think my translation for Jason Kidd is, I am a terrible coach that doesn't know how to adjust properly, who also asks my players to bump me while I'm holding a glass of water so I could gain an extra timeout. So the best move I have right now is to hopefully cause some friction in Boston after game one. This is a crazy game one move, by the way. Like, he didn't even wait for game 3 or game 2. This is right out the gate.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a Hail Mary here and hope that this causes friction. Anyway, the Celtics are now 6-0 in the playoffs when Jason Tatum shoots below 40%. True or false? He should not be the favorite for Finals MVP.
Is that even a question?
I think we know the answer here.
Yeah.
He's definitely not, right?
No.
He's not. That just shows how deep and stacked the Celtics are.
Okay, next. This is not on the outline here, but I want to ask you guys, whose team is it more of? Jason Tatum's team or Jaylen Brown's team?
The narrative will always be Jason Tatum.
Correct.
Right? But why is that? Why do we want to give this team to Jason Tatum, but we're so resistant to give it to Jaylen Brown? Isn't that weird?
I don't think we're resistant. I think the media has driven that narrative home in everyone's mind that we subconsciously think it's just Jason Tatum's team. You hear about it in the media, you hear reporters talk about it. Everyone is trying to make Jason Tatum this figure that he may not be, to be completely honest with you. That he's this alpha male, he is the superstar, that he's able to lead a team to a championship, when he may not even be that. But we've all, the media, I would say, not us, they have labeled him that, right? And so I think it's Jaylen Brown's team based on his performance, based on his leadership, based on what he does for the team, right? Like, I would trust Jaylen Brown more in the clutch than I would Jason Tatum. But the media and the pundits and the narrative will never allow us to actually think it's Jaylen Brown's team. It's Jason Tatum's team, based on what the narrative says.
Yeah, I think Jason Tatum, he's like James Harden, where during the regular season, he has these highlights, these clutch shots, and these performances scoring over 40. But then when it comes to the playoffs, he does choke. And even if you refer back to the 2022 finals, it was always Tatum as the favorite, even though Jaylen Brown was the obvious choice that was tearing up the Warriors when they were up 2-1. So, like what John was saying, it's just a narrative from the media. And I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, fellas, like, I know that we're kind of being politically correct, but who has the most marketable, like, face? It's gonna be Tatum over Brown.
Yeah, that's true. I also think that Tatum was anointed like the leader of the Celtics when he dunked on LeBron James as a rookie. Was he a rookie?
I think he was a rookie,
I think he was a rookie. And I think that's just like has carried over for like years and years. And plus, I mean, he was a great rookie. He was really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Next question here. Kind of a random one here. Which NBA team is the furthest away from winning a championship? The Nets, the Hornets, or the Wizards?
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. That's okay. Sorry to all the 5-year-olds that watched
Dang.
the episode.
John.
Come on, you know what the answer
Wizards?
is.
Is it the Wizards?
Yeah, Jordan
has to
Poole
be
is a
the Wizards,
basketball is a
right?
basketball terrorist. Jordan Poole
Oh,
is a
man.
basketball terrorist. Like, if the Wizards even wanted to try to win a game,
terrorist.
Jordan Poole is out there like a poor man's Harlem Globetrotter, running around, dribbling in circles, acting a fool, and will do whatever it takes to lose a game. The Wizards for sure.
I don't know, man. Ben Simmons is holding the Nets like hostage.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? At least Jordan Poole like has some history of winning. Like Ben Simmons, like I don't even know. Did he play a lot last year? I can't even remember.
They got Mikal Bridges at least.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. JJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the Hornets have, like, from a marketing standpoint, they have Ball, right? LaMelo Ball. And they do have some tradable assets. I just think you have to pick the team with the worst contract. So that's open to debate, which is the sad part. Is it Ben Simmons or you have Jordan Poole? And right now, I think it might be the Wizards, but at least the Wizards,
I think it's the Wiz.
they might have capital, draft capital. So whatever they want to use that for in the future.
Isn't Kuzma locked into a long-term, big-time contract too?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember now.
I think they have not just one albatross
Yeah.
contract. They have two.
Kuzma and Jordan
pretty
Poole.
sure-
Kuzma's 4-year, $90 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
it's a lot,
okay,
but I feel
Wizards.
like it's a lot, but I feel like guys worse have gotten more. So
Yeah.
it's not as albatross as I thought it was, but it's still long-term. When did he sign that? Last year?
Let's
2
see
years
here.
ago.
I think Kuzma is a tradable candidate, meaning that a lot of teams would trade for him just
Yeah.
for his 3 and D.
Yeah.
But Jordan Poole, I don't know if any team would even want to trade for that contract,
No,
right?
no, that's like bona fide superstar kind of contract.
Yeah.
I like Bob Myers is actually an actual wizard. Wait, was it Myers or was it?
It was
Myers, right?
Dunleavy.
Oh, it was Dunleavy.
That
at the
was
time.
Dunleavy,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dunleavy was a wizard, and I mean he had to take on Chris Paul. So
Ghost in the chat says maybe we should all learn some Latvian slang. Maybe, man. Maybe we should.
Yeah.
And said y'all owe Patrick Beverly an apology. I'm not sure what that means. I feel like we've appropriately rated Patrick Beverly. Maybe not John though. John hates.
No. I love him. His antics are out of this world. I mean, busting out the SLR camera when LeBron got fouled by Tatum was something else, man. That was up there.
that was top tier, like talking smack to the ref.
Yeah, that's gonna be on an ESPN special one of these days in the future. So 30 for 30.
The next one, John. We got to talk about the Lakers. Zach Lowe says the Lakers' job is not that great of a job. They're a playing team pretty much every year. I want to end with John here. JJ, what do you think?
I think if you have AD, you have LeBron, and you get to coach in what is considered one of the greatest cities to live in, LA, that, I mean, is the job really that bad? Now, it's all about expectations now, which I think Zach Lowe is like alluding to. Like, the expectation for LA, the Lakers, for that organization is to win a championship every year. And because those are the expectations, it's almost near impossible to win. But you do have LeBron and you do have AD, so it's not, I mean, the situation is not that ideal going into the next season, but there are way worse situations. I think Zach Lowe's he's exaggerating.
John?
I don't think I've seen it all. I did not think JJ would come to the Lakers' defense, but you know what? Here we are. So, okay. As the resident Laker fan here, I will first off say that Zach Lowe is not wrong. I mean, he's speaking facts here. They're pretty much a play-in team every year. That's not debatable. I mean, it's factual, other than 2020, and obviously 2023, where we made it to the Western Conference Finals. But for the most part, you know, and we've been teetering. I mean, like, granted, we went to the Western Conference Finals last year against the Nuggets, but we were a play-in team. But we still made it to the Western Conference Finals. He's not wrong. The thing is like, Darvin Ham last year was a basketball terrorist. I'm sorry, but there's absolutely no way we should have been a play-in team this year, not last year, because we went on a stretch after that in-season tournament. I think we were over 500 by quite a few games, like 6 or 7. We went on a stretch where we were abysmal, and it's because Darvin Ham started Cam Reddish and Taurean Prince over Rui Hachimura, and I think it might have been Austin Reeves. I don't remember who, but he did not play our best players. He did not play the starting lineup that was clearly winning games. It had a record of winning games consistently. Right. And for whatever reason, that really set us back, and we were the plan. So even though I agree with Zach Lowe, I feel like a lot of what the Lakers did were just self-inflicting harm. Like, they shouldn't have been a play-in team, honestly. And I don't know if you guys agree, but the Lakers probably should have been a top 4 seed this year.
I mean, your starting lineup and rotations are everything, and if you can't get that right, it's a hard thing to overcome. So, John, I think you are absolutely correct. But it's hard to define what not that great of a job means. You know what I mean? Like, at least you have superstars, but LeBron is going to do LeBron-y things no matter what you coach. And also, you're always going to be in the hot seat. So if you're looking for job security, that might not be the place for you. So, I mean, there is some truths here. I think I would need more context for what Zach Lowe is trying to say. The next one is fill in the blank. Dan Hurley from UConn rejects Lakers' 6-year, $70 million contract, and he will return to UConn instead. He rejected the Lakers because blank. John, I'm gonna let you start this one.
Because Genie Bus is cheap as hell. And I know 6 years, 70 million is a lot for, if you actually look at it relative to how many coaches are getting paid, that's actually pretty great. But if you're trying to pry away a legendary college coach who's won back-to-back championships and has a winning record wherever he goes, you're going to have to pony up a lot more money than that, right? And I think his contract at UConn was 50 million. If I remember correctly,
50 for 6
and
years.
So, right, and so a $20 million raise to relocate your entire family, everything that you've known, to the West Coast, right? Move into the NBA for the first time, really adjusting your family, adjusting in the workplace. Taxes, obviously, I know Texas and Connecticut are probably just as bad as the ones in California, but like, it's not that great of an incentive, right? And he's said time and time again, it's not even about the money. So, but again, like, if you're trying to entice someone to make a massive change, and not only in their life, but in their profession, you're gonna have to really give them a huge reason, which is partly why I actually think, and I know this hasn't been reported, but I feel like his intention, he was never really serious about going to the Lakers. Maybe that's me coping, but that's what I truly believe.
So you think it was like kind of posturing?
Posturing, maybe like a way to get UConn to renegotiate and get a little bit more money, longer term, whatever it may be.
JJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it was a leverage tactic. I mean, what Dan Hurley basically said was, hey, one day I want to get married, but I don't want to get married to you. You know? Because he said, like, oh, I want to coach the NBA, but not at the moment. The UConn gig, like, why would he leave it is my counter to everyone, right? Like, you went back to back, you have full control of the roster, you don't have to worry about these prima donnas on your roster. You know, whether it be, you know, there have been issues with LeBron and coaches, and I think that plays a part of why he should coach the Lakers. He just has the perfect gig, and why not go for the three-peat with UConn at an established university? It's like there are more benefits to where he's at. So, like, to support what John was saying, like, if you're gonna pry away Hurley from a really, really, really good, comfortable gig, you better pony up some money.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you both. LA would have made Dan Hurley one of the NBA's 6 highest paid coaches. Is the right next move to hire the podcaster, an ex-NBA star, JJ Redick? And we're going to start with JJ.
Okay, we've talked about this on our group chat, but you hope that JJ Redick could be the next Steve Kerr. But there are Laker fans that obviously are very worried that he could be the next Steve Nash. So is it the right move? I have no idea. The problem that John mentioned last week is that JJ Redick does not have any prior coaching experience. So if you do hire him, there are going to be mistakes, which is fine. If they do hire JJ Redick, I hope that he hires assistants that were former head coaches.
John, is this the right move?
Yeah. I don't know if it's the right move, but I feel like it's the next move. Right? I think for sure he's going to get hired. And JJ made a great, I mean, the comparison to me is, yeah, he could be the next Steve Kerr, which would be amazing. But I don't even think Steve Nash is like the lowest tier. Steve Nash, I don't think he got a fair shake in Brooklyn. I don't think he was horrible, but I think it was just like the jury was still out on that. But I feel like it's either it could be Steve Kerr, or it could be someone like Byron Scott. And to me, that would be, or Magic Johnson. Like, awful coaches, right? Like, there's just no debate. Amazing players, nothing against what they did as a player, but their coaching ability is just off the charts awful. So it remains to be seen, but I do think he's going to be the next coach of the Lakers. And I think, honestly, he was probably their first choice. I think he's always been the first choice.
Should JJ Redick feel offended that Dan Hurley was offered?
No, I mean that's a national champion. Literally.
You don't think JJ Redick is going to be offended at all? Like, because it sounded like for a while that he was like the only front-running contender, and then all of a sudden Dan Hurley like popped up out of nowhere and got offered. John, what did you think about that?
I think he's gonna be not offended, but I think he's obviously like, anytime you're not the first choice, right? It's like you're out with your friends and some girl is hitting on your friend, and then your friend rejects her, and then she goes to you. Like, how would you feel? Right? You probably wouldn't feel that great. You'd be like, you know what? But it really depends, I guess. Like, on a number of factors, right? Like, was the girl good looking or whatever? So to me, it's like he's gonna be offended, but he's still something where I think he would be enticed to take the job. There's still a lot more pros than there are cons, right? And so, sure, he might be offended, but JJ's right. Like, you take a stab at the best prospect, and you have to understand that, like, you're not the only potential coach out there. So we'll see what happens.
Do you think this was at all possible, like a power move by Jeannie Buss, where like she didn't want to just give LeBron James the hire of his boy JJ Redick?
It could have been. I mean, from the reports, Dan Hurley, everyone thought that it wasn't like a legit, credible applicant for the head coaching job. So when you create competition, you create leverage for your own sake.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That aspect I thought was kind of interesting, just because LeBron James is so used to just kind of getting whatever coaching hire he wants. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna assume that he's pushing really hard for JJ Redick, but he might get it anyway. But it's just interesting that Dan Hurley was offered first. Anyway, that's actually all we have for tonight's show. I want to thank you two for being on. JJ, thanks for being on, man.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you all.
John, thanks for being on, man.
Hey, shout out to everyone for watching, and thank you for another great episode. One last thing before we go is, JJ, I know it's the second episode since you haven't apologized to Kyrie, so there's still an opportunity.
I will not do it.
And of course, shout out to our missing podmate, Sammy.
Sammy boy.
Sammy takes it all the way.
And shout out to our video producer, RJ. Check out our YouTube channel. Remember to rate, subscribe, and review. Like us on our Facebook group page, The Clinic All NBA Podcast, and follow us on Twitter at Clinic All NBA. I'm Rosa Panta. This is The Clinic All NBA Podcast. Come find us wherever you get your podcasts.